Hello. We have some boxes. So, you might remember from previous, if you're a regular viewer, I impromptually reviewed some Tajima1 Grass Tufts, and I was positive about them, and I had paid for them myself. And Tajima1 were very appreciative of the review. I guess a lot of you went out and bought some, and sent me a selection of their most popular products, which is good because I couldn't afford to buy these. So I'm going to have a look at them. I've not used any of them, but it's gonna. I know that the Tajima1 stuff sticks really well. So I've got an example for those that do not know. So this is their wild grass tuft, which I've reviewed in the past, and these were my desert base for my Leviathan Dreadnought. And they're really nice, and they stick really, really well, and they're really durable, and they conform to pretty much any surface you want to stick them to, which is usually a problem with grass tufts. Like, sometimes they just don't stick well, or they don't stay stuck. Games Workshop ones, the old ones at least, the ones I have, commonly would come off during play or handling. I've never had that problem with these ones. So they sent me a selection of their most popular sellers, so I'm going to go through them in a relatively haphazard random order. Okay, so we have here their wild grass tufts. These will be similar to ones I already have, but these are in bigger lumps, so these are for bigger bases. And lots of different shapes. In fact, there's nothing uniform about these shapes whatsoever. And I chatted with the guy that runs the company, or makes them, or something, or both. It's a very small company. And he said the way they do it is they basically just put down a big blob of glue and sprinkle the grass onto them. So they don't have patterns, they don't have a machine that does this, it's all done by hand. And as you can see, that means you get lots and lots of different shapes. There's no guaranteed uniform shapes. I mean, they'll repeat similar patterns, but every single one's going to be slightly different. And that's good. That means variation, and variation is what you want in your basing materials. So these, now I'm going to zoom in and put this for a close-up. So these look really nice. A little bit dense for my purposes because I'm doing desert basing at the moment, but certainly for historicals, these would be great. 28mm historical stuff, yeah, this would be absolutely brilliant. World War II stuff, great for that. Even Age of Sigmar fantasy stuff, if your guys are fighting on the field of battle rather than say a forest or swamp or something like that. These would be really good on, say, cavalry bases, or even monster bases, actually, for just doing bigger tufts. And combo these with some other different basing elements, like rocks and fallen leaves, things like that, to get them looking really nice. But yeah, these are quite good. I'm going to remove one of them and stick it down on camera for you. So I'm just going to heal this one up, and I have a handy dandy naked base here. And the way I usually do it is I get some tweezers or cocktail stick, and I just kind of poke it down because I don't want to flatten the stuff out. Poke, 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 poke. And there you go. So as you can see, this is a 32mm base here. These would pretty much cover a 25mm round base easily. 32mm is probably the smallest you really want to put them on. But you could easily get a Space Marine straddling this, get some sandy paste on there, paint that up, put one of these on, put a Space Marine on it. Job's a good one. So these are really nice and fluffy. And solid, that's not coming off. So that's the kind of quality workmanship you can expect from them. So let's look at some of the other designs. So that was the wild grass. I'm just going to zoom back out. This. And here we have moss. So this is a much brighter green. Similar in style, again, there's not all one uniform colour. So this is moss, apparently. To be honest, it doesn't look like any moss I've seen, but it's quite shortly shaved. Actually, it looks like it's been trimmed after it's been put on the basing. So I don't know how you'd get it that short otherwise. So it looks like it's actually been, it's this stuff, this fluffy stuff over here, and then they trimmed it to different lengths. So yeah, this would be quite, this, I can see how you'd use it for moss at certain scales. So it's much brighter green as well than the wild grass, which is quite yellow and desaturated. Mixed size, that was. Oh, we've got here moorland elements. So for your more, ooh, hello, these are nice. Lots of different things on the same one. Again, a bit too big for 25mm bases, unless this is all you want on the base. But looks like it would fit on a 32 base. Yep. Just some of them are a little bit big, but for doing wood elves, again for historicals, nice bunch of different colours in there. It's like a one-stop shop. Very fluffy, and these are quite big mounds. I'll get an example of a place where I might have used these if I'd had them at the time. So, Wood Elf Cavalry. This is actually 3 different Tajima1 Tufts and some badly applied flock by me. And these were present in the previous video, which, yeah, makes sense because it's good context for it. But these would fit nicely on certainly the new rounder oval cavalry bases for Age of Sigmar. Yeah, these would have done quite nicely on some Wood Elf bases. And also, if you want to do some terrain up, decent size for that as well. I think all of these are basically the same prices as each other. There's not a lot of variation in the pricing depending on the thing, just how many you get. So we've also got here flower tufts, which are, these were present on the moorland bases. Just integrated with everything. And these are very small. This is meadow. Again, absolutely spot on for wood elves. So quite small. Yep, very nice. This is model bushes, gorse. So these are gorse bushes. And ooh, this looks more of I can see you using this for railway stuff actually. As well, these are quite nice. Again, a lot of the stuff that's appropriate for very, very fantasy and historical stuff, more so than science fiction stuff, where there's usually more of a war-torn battlefield going on. So evidently the most popular sellers are to historicals. And again, these are quite large blobs, so I think these are quite large If you put these on, say if you had like a 12mm tall figure, it would actually form a decent amount of cover for those actually on their bases. Yeah, very nice. Again, completely random variation in shape and pattern of all of these because handmade. And lastly, we have some of their small shrubs. And these are, well, small shrubs. And, okay, this is giving me a World War II vibe, because Steven Spielberg, to find the look of World War II for Saving Private Ryan, didn't they? Desaturated green, desaturated beige. But there are other colours in there with them, so the green's actually got flecks of yellow in there, and the beige has got flecks of red and orange. So this would be really good actually for dried out wasteland type scenery, and this would be really good for actually putting this in amongst trenches would be quite good. So yeah, I would, like if I had like a Death Korps Krieg army, I could use this to actually break up all of those large expanses of mud that you usually end up with on the Krieg style basing around the trench works. So, and yeah, actually these wouldn't look too out of place on a desert base. And they may make an appearance on this base in the future, just like one of them maybe, as a little accent. So yeah, that's the Tajima1 bestsellers. There'll be a link in the description to their website, tajima1.co.uk. Thank you for sending me all of these samples. This is enough shrubberies to last me a lifetime. I'm going to have to start a fantasy army now so I can use them all up. Because most of the stuff I've painted recently has all had moulded and sculpted bases on it, because I've been playing Warhammer Underworlds. And most of that's not even been in exterior location. So I've not had much reason to use my shrubs recently, but they are very nice. So there you go. Another unboxing. And that's it. I give them the thumbs up. But I already liked their products because I've been using them all along and hadn't told anyone. So there you go. That's it. Yeah. Please subscribe to the channel, and there'll be a video there suggesting the previous unboxing where I showed you the other ones. And yeah, link in the description to Tajima1. So that's it. Bye.